All right, here we go. Hello, Kate, Pauline,
Welcome,
Catherine.
everyone.
Wow.
Welcome, welcome. So excited to be doing this. We've just been powwowing and brainstorming and already drilling Christine with questions about software before we've even begun. So I have a feeling we have a lot to cover today. Some really, really good insights.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, without further ado, we don't really have any announcements or anything to make except for the fact that this evening we have our events committee meeting. So if anyone is looking to join in on the fun of planning events and knowing what to expect and what the kind of behind the scenes looks like there, we'd love to have you join us. We'll be sending out another link via email as well as text message later today. So I have something in my throat. With that
Wonderful.
being said, Christine, I'm going to let you go ahead and take the stage.
Sure, wonderful. And Pauline and Jamie and Sarah, whoever can see messages in the background, just ping me. I won't be watching that on my monitor. I'll just talk up a storm and promise to try to remember to breathe because I'll fit a lot in. And let me know if there are questions. When I present, I really like to keep it engaging. And so we're all here to help each other's businesses. I appreciate you allowing me to be the first to present in this type of format, the mini minds for Noco Women in Business. It's a fun concept and I'm very excited about it. We're all here for different reasons. For me, I had shared with Sarah and Jamie that I really just want to learn from others. Sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. And so this presentation will be filled with a bit of that. Tons of it you might already know. You're already a business owner and you're in the room and you're taking time to invest in yourself and your business. And then there's other stuff that might be worth exploring. So we're here to talk about all different kinds of software and how different types of software can benefit your business, and then hopefully give you some ideas of what might be worth investing in or maybe outsourcing. So let's get started. So this is us. This is our team. I myself have spent more than 25 years in the media, which makes me sound really, really old. I actually started in radio while I was at university and have loved being in the media ever since. Radio, broadcast television, cable, digital, you name it, and worked in software. And this year we are entering into our 18th year of business. So I'm a very proud business owner, started very, very small and meager for a number of years, just kind of walking with demand. And here we are loving it and doing well and serving Northern Colorado. So why are we here? Sarah, I'm looking at your wall and this is ringing a bell right now. We are here because this is not the most efficient way to manage your business. This is actually at a client's desk in St. Louis, I think, where she did everything by sticky notes. She hated working on a computer, even though you can see one in her office. So there are more efficient ways, and Jamie and Sarah are very much efficient in embracing software. But again, sometimes we don't know what we don't know. So we'll talk about it all today.
Christine, these are thank you cards. This is not my to-do list, I promise.
Oh, I love it. Okay, well, look, you are very well loved.
Thank you card. I'm just putting it out there because I love to go back.
Good. That makes me happy. So what I've learned in my career is that software is a necessity. It's an investment in your business, and change is inevitable. I'm so thrilled to be here presenting on this, and actually might be a little bit surprising to you that my business is not about software. I've just been doing this for so long and worked in the media where you had to learn all of the new technology to stay afloat and be a viable station, that I've had the pleasure and also pain of working in all kinds of software. because my company, we manage events and marketing for businesses of all sizes. We are then forced to learn back-end software for all of our clients' businesses because we are their business assistants. So that's why I felt compelled to create this presentation and have been asked to present it a number of times now, because I think people are hungry for it and just kind of want a full circle list of what they should consider for their small business. So in bringing joy to the job, as Big Deal Company, we've been working in software in the back end and just become experts because we had to, not because that is what we sell. So today we'll talk about who you are, what you want to learn, and then we'll go through these different areas. There is a handout, and Jamie, Sarah, Pauline, was that sent out in advance, or are we doing that after the fact? Ooh, Jamie, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Let's see, we can probably drop that in the link here. Do you think that it's important to have during the session?
Oh, I think it's optional. So folks can look at it if they want to get more examples. I will be covering names of software, but not the descriptions of each, and that's what's in the document. So feel free to drop it in.
Okay, yeah, Pauline, if you have a moment and you want to dig for that, and we can drop it here in the link, and then we'll be sure to send it out regardless.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, so experience-wise, we don't have to do this with everyone in the room, but commonly when I present in person, we go through the room, depending on size, and talk about how many years of experience everyone has had. Knowing who's in the room today, I know we have a breadth of experience, and that really helps me talk to those who are brand new and those who are senior. And knowing that this is being recorded, we want to make sure that we include everyone, right? So we don't have to go through everyone's industry. Also, for industries in general, there are so many. So I can tell you that this presentation doesn't target just one industry, but if we were to talk just about healthcare or just about e-commerce, the presentation would be very different, because we would have to focus on software for those different industries. Just know that for every industry, there are tools built for just your industry. So one of my good friends works in professional training for safety management for companies that work with large equipment. And they have all of their own software for POS, for job safety, for CRM. So every industry has it. As a sweeping generalization, we know a lot of the folks who are part of Noco Women in Business own their own small businesses locally. And there are some categories that are pretty strong. So I'll keep that in mind when we're talking. Burning questions. So if there's anything that's top of mind or a reason why you're here, feel free to enter that into the chat. And Jamie will let me know what sort of questions you have to make sure we handle them along the way. But also feel free to jump in and ask questions as we go. You're not all muted, so or you are muted, but you have the ability to unmute and jump in and ask your questions. Okay. So let's talk about what software you really do need to run your small business. First and foremost, most anyone who's running a business now, knows that you have to have a website. So the website is the face of your business. Statistically, these days, there was a study just done in 2023 about where folks go to make sure that you're a valid business and have confidence in you before they ever pick up the phone or email or message you. So most everyone goes to Google first these days, although there are other browsers, and they'll go to your website. They want to make sure you have an active website, that it doesn't look spammy. So having a nice looking website is great. And it's crucial, of course, because you have to have the website. And that's where I think I left off, is that you need to have a website because it is the face of your business. So GoDaddy, Domains Price Right, Bluehost, Google, Squarespace, WordPress, they all offer opportunities to purchase that domain. So, Sarah gets a lot of thankyounotes.com. And then from there, you have to purchase a whole lot of other stuff and things. So then there's the website hosting. What's really great is that anyone who has some technical savviness can purchase a URL easily and can purchase the ability to host your own website on a template website. So that is, again, Bluehost, GoDaddy, Wix. These are all template websites that are really easy to design on your own. That's if you have the interest in the know-how. You would consider going local with the business should you not want to manage your own website or have to continually maintain it, because that's where the SEO comes from, is all that background maintenance. And so there are folks locally who can do that for you, where you actually have a face and a name of someone who can manage that. You'll notice in the right-hand corner, I have prices listed out, and they're always going to be a big range. So you can host on your own and pay for a very, very simple hosting website for about $100 a month. And in some cases, a year, depending on how the tiers are structured. And then locally, you might have a little bit more fees there because they're backing up all of that data rather than in the cloud on someone else's software. They're using their software and they're doing physical backups for you that are automated that cost them money to do. But then again, you get the local expertise. Then when it comes to designing your website, that also is a whole other animal. Logged into the purchasing the backend and the hosting, you can then design your own website. You can purchase templates, or you can use simple template websites that have a base design. WordPress is most commonly well known. It's also the deepest and largest animal of all of the templated websites out there. And so we caution folks who are starting their business from scratch, brand new, and if they're not doing like huge e-commerce and don't have a lot of tech savviness or want to, WordPress can seem a little bit heavy. So there are others. Wix and Squarespace, pretty popular and easy to navigate. Shopify if you are e-commerce, and Etsy if you're e-commerce. Also consider a small marketing company. Those like mine and others that are members of Noco Women in Business have the skill sets to do this for you. And then marketing agencies. One of the committees I sit on locally, we're putting out a bid to get agency work done that manages all of the marketing and communications for a very small business. And we're looking at about $200,000 a year to use an agency to manage just the basics. So that is quite a lift for a smaller business, but good to know the pricing, right? So for marketing and advertising, of course, once you've laid that groundwork, you have the face of your business, you know what it is you're selling. You have to market and advertise it. Word of mouth, of course, is always number one when it comes to gaining clients. Social media is mostly free. You can use it for free, but with all of the algorithms these days, you often have to pay for it. So there is a consideration there. And then there's traditional advertising, which is also part of my background. And this is where it gets really heavy and confusing for folks these days. And that, and Jamie and I were talking about this earlier, is trying to figure out, where do I put my messaging? Where is my audience spending the majority of their time? You can do research on that, but it often feels daunting, and that we have to be everywhere. And as the years pass, it just gets more deep and more wide. Think about all of the television options we used to have at one point in time, and now we have lots of devices and all sorts of channels. I just logged on to Discovery Plus the other day. I forgot I was even paying for the app. And I was like, oh my gosh, look at all this great content I didn't even know I had. There's just so much. And then I think about all of the advertisers thinking that they're going to find my eyeballs there. But I'm so many places. It's tough. But as a business owner, you have to decide where you want to put your focus. And that's typically when you rely on professional marketers to help you do that research and direct you. So marketing creative, then creating your content. There's a lot of folks who are part of Noco Women in Business who are great at this. There are so many options out there too, and thankfully most of them are quite affordable. So for video production, I was talking to the gals the other day about the most popular areas where you need to focus your marketing on their Instagram Live. And video is hands down number one right now. So if you are on anything visual that's not paper, you need to have some time spent on video production. Now you can do that in Movie Maker and DaVinci Resolve, which both are low cost, and there are some free versions. Most of the software we talk about is starting to get AI built into it. It's not just topical, but it is helpful for any kind of marketing. And so these are some of the video options out there. You can even build small videos in Canva for those of you who use Canva. Canva is the most widely used now, although Adobe Express has always been very popular for fantastic ad design. And you can still use PowerPoint. You don't have to learn all of the software at once. If you're someone who likes your Microsoft Office suite, PowerPoint can still get you a lot of what you need to get your face out there.
I have several questions for you and really
Yeah, please.
okay if I jump in for a sec?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, awesome. So we are actually, even within Noco Learn in Business, are starting to explore video content creation a little bit more. And there's so much to learn. First of all, when it comes to creating video content, I've been creating video content in my other business on my Instagram page for a while. It served me really well. I went from like having 2,000 followers for a long time to just focusing in on reels, being really consistent. And then I grew to like 47,000 followers in a few months. And all of that was because of video creation. And so we know that within Noco Women in Business, like in order to especially help people understand more about our mission and who we are, we have to be getting up on video. We have to be talking to the camera and having these conversations. Sarah and I actually just yesterday recorded a video that we're hoping to use as kind of like a podcast clip, maybe be able to make some short form content out of it. There's kind of two parts to my question. So the number one is I was gifted this little device for Christmas from my amazing significant other. And it's absolutely incredible. However, it's advanced. And I find that like the quality of the content, it's so good, but it also means like it just takes a really long time. So do you feel that any of the softwares that you share, like one would be better than the other for really high resolution files?
Ooh, I don't know if I could, for the videos that I listed here, if there's one that's better than the other, because they all can handle really high res. Okay. I would say Canva's not meant to do that, and it gets better, it feels like every week, but I would use a true video production software that has lots of layers where it's
like a built-in app, possibly iMovie or something.
Yes. Okay. However, I will say, if you're putting out that content on social media, you've probably discovered that the resolution has to actually be lower in some cases. Yeah. And so you're building this like awesome movie, and then you have to turn it into this little bitty file to be accepted by some.
Right.
So it depends on where you're putting it out. If it's YouTube content, you'll want the higher resolution. It'll just look better.
Okay. Oh, good to know. Awesome. Now, when it comes to creating short form content, this is also something I'm exploring, because we're taking those big clips. I mean, I think that after like doing all the edits to it last night, ended up being about a 15-minute long video. Now, when it comes to short form content and reels, I think the max you have is like 90 seconds, right? I don't know if that's the same across Facebook and YouTube Shorts, because I'm so used to just using Instagram. So I'll have to explore that. But I currently have just been using like a software like CapCut, but I know you mentioned several of these have AI tools built into them. And that's something that I'm looking into exploring more, because I've heard there's some softwares out there that can kind of find the best clip or like little highlights of that long video and then make several AI creations. So just curious if you had any thoughts on that, just definitely trying
Yeah.
to expedite.
Yeah, it's definitely worth trying, and it changes every week. And so I can't tell you what's best today versus yesterday because I don't spend the majority of my time here. I can tell you I just did a training for my team the other day on some of them are spending hours creating a little tiny video on just Canva for ads for clients. And Canva, even alone, has built in AI where you can upload some text, you can click some images or some video, and it will just build it for you within seconds. You can build a video in less than 5 minutes, front end to back end, with music, with animations, by just uploading it and letting AI do the work for you.
Right.
But AI isn't perfect, right? And so then there's the tweaking and making sure it's your brand and your voice. That can be done in all different kinds of software today. It's just a matter of playing with it. And again, the point of the presentation is to let you know that if you love that, go after it and seek it out. There's so much else that you have to do in your business, unless video is a prime thing, where sometimes it's worth outsourcing and looking at those prices and then how valuable is your time.
I've definitely thought that, especially when it comes to building out the shorts and then finding the highlights and, what like 15 to 30-second clip is the best, and then creating the animations in between it. I'm like, goodness, this really, it's a lot of work. It makes sense why people get paid the big bucks to do this, because it's a lot. So, but thank you. And I also saw in the chat, Kate dropped another option that I will look into as well. So thank you.
Ooh, great. Thanks, Kate. Okay, so scheduling comes next. We've built all of the back end and this is just marketing. It's not all the rest of our business so far. Then we've got to schedule it. And again, all kinds of algorithms when it comes to newsletters and scheduling on social. If you do it yourself live, of course, you've got to time it out. When am I in front of my computer or on my phone where I have the thought and everything ready and prepared to post whatever it is I need to say live, and at the time that metrically most people who are following me see it. You can also schedule it. So you can schedule those emails, you can schedule the social, you can schedule the newsletters. My business does a lot of that. Statistically, if you schedule it live, if you are live, there are more eyeballs. The algorithms work that way because they want a real person behind it. But scheduling it can save you a lot of time and efficiency, again, depending on what your business is and what your calendar looks like. If you only have time to work on your social media at midnight, you're not going to want to post then. You're going to want to schedule it out for when the majority of your folks are online. So Constant Contact, MailChimp, MailerLite, and somemore.com are different examples of newsletters. Not everyone sends them out. They aren't the strongest form of communication. Most of us feel like we have to do it. It really depends on if there's a purpose. If you're doing it to just do it, or maybe just to get your name in someone's inbox, I wouldn't spend a lot of money or time on it. You can simply email folks. But if you're really going to embrace it, and if there are specials and offers and compelling stories that people want to read, they're more likely to open up your newsletter and give you the engagement you're looking for. You probably want to have about a 40% open rate or more to make it worth your while. So MailerLite and somemore.com are those that are free if you want to test it out. The clincher is they're not the better software as far as design. And when it comes to landing in people's inboxes and not falling in spam, MailChimp is better, but Constant Contact still truly is the best. It just happens to be really expensive.
Can I share one thing on this too? Sorry.
Yeah.
I have a lot on this. Quick side note, funny story. I used to use MailChimp for all my email marketing. We did within Noco Women in Business, as well as my coaching company. I actually got banned from MailChimp. I still laugh because it's like the funniest thing ever. I was banned from MailChimp for writing the word shit in my email, which, to be honest with you, that wasn't a Noco email because that's not really our brand voice. But in my coaching company, I'm much more like kind of carefree. Just, I use swear words. I swear in my podcast. It just, that's how I talk. That's my tone of voice. So if you are using MailChimp, just something to consider. not to use any swear words because I was instantly banned after I sent the email and then received an email from MailChimp that I would never again ever be able to use MailChimp, at least under that alias and that email. So I thought
Oh
that was
my.
really
That is
interesting.
surprising, Jamie, but
Isn't that?
I guess they can set their rules.
Yeah.
That's funny. I used to use them as well, and was really disheartened when if I had someone who like had an old email that was no longer working and I didn't want to spend the money per email address to send out the newsletter. You have to go through one at a time to delete. You can't do a select all remove because they're a pay to play platform. So
Wow.
every email address that sits in there, even if it's not opened, is money to them.
Wow.
I don't like
That's interesting to know. I
Yes.
actually converted over to Flowdesk. I'm not sure if that's something that you have explored. That's something that I invested in as of late of last year. They have, and I think I have a link. So when we upload this, I can probably just provide the link down below. But Flowdesk, you can get 50% off the year for someone's unique affiliate link. They now have checkout pages as well inside Flowdesk. So you can do checkout pages, you can create opt-in forms, and they have really beautifully branded emails. Just the way to design your email and the one thing that I'm looking for that I've seen no software create in terms of email marketing yet is embedding AI into the email marketing software. I think
Yeah. I'm
that would
sure
be a
it's
game
coming
changer.
any day now.
Yeah.
I'm curious, do you know what you're paying for Flowdesk?
Yeah. So right now I'm paying $19 a month. So it's quite affordable. It's really good. And in my opinion, it's the best software for email marketing that I have found. I've used Constant Contact, I've used MailChimp, and one other, oh, what is it called? ConvertKit. I think it's the one that I
I
used to
haven't used
use.
that one, but I wrote down Flowdesk. I am
Yeah.
the person on this page who's paying the $1,200
Yeah.
for Constant Contact, and it makes me physically ill because
Yeah.
it's not doing that much for me.
Okay. I am very, very, very pleased with Flowdesk. So I'm happy to share a link with you guys.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Scheduling social media. So most of us are familiar with Meta Business Suite, but if you're not, Facebook and Instagram, your messages, so it could be your reels, your traditional posts can all be scheduled in one place through the Facebook platform or Instagram and schedule across both. Of course, that doesn't schedule across all other social media, but those two are connected, owned by the same company. That gives you the ability to schedule out the time for all of the different platforms. It doesn't have to be at once, and alter your messages in one place. Hootsuite has been around for quite a long time. Sendable, Buffer, Plannable. There are tons of scheduling suites now. When shopping, you simply really need to just look for, when scheduling, what social media platforms are you on? So if I want to schedule on LinkedIn, my Google business page, TikTok. So you have to look and see if they schedule out to all, or at least most, if you're interested in using a scheduling software. I think some more questions popped in maybe. Or maybe that was just your link.
So you're using a scheduler for yourself as well as your clients?
Yes.
What is your preferred scheduling software?
Right now it's Sendable.
Okay.
I really, really like it. It's easy to use. It's pretty robust. But since we started using it, some others that are really interesting have come out. I know a lot of folks rave about HubSpot. And again, it's what you want to invest in if it's going where you need to go. I also like those that allow collaboration, which Sendable does. So we can have a team in there. We can review posts before they're sent out or messages before they're sent out. And some of the other softwares don't allow that.
Yeah, I would say that would be the key for us, especially if you're in a business where you're hoping to scale and build an organization. Having those features is really important for Noco. It would be super helpful because we just have a text thread. We go back and forth. Like, what are we posting today?
Yes. Yeah, I like the calendar, just like in Meta, the calendar planner. It works well with my eyes. Oh, and Sprout Social. I forgot to put that one in there too.
We have another question. Have you tried Tailwind or Plainly? Just curious how they compare to
No.
Sendable.
I have not, and actually we don't have any clients using those. So yeah, if you have some pros and cons, enter that into the chat if you think that would be a benefit to others.
That's what the mini mind is for.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you. Online collaboration. So just before we got on this call, we were talking about this very topic. Most of us are familiar with these different platforms for online collaboration. My personal preference is Zoom as far as acceptability, universability, if that's a word. I was mentioning to the gals that it's Google Meet. I think that might be on here. Pulls down the most bandwidth on computers where it really fights with other things you have open. So for example, right now having a PowerPoint up, and I have, a browser up, and then I'm also on Zoom, that can really pull down a lot of memory on your computer. And mine could launch satellites, and you saw I can still lose my Wi-Fi. Zoom, I have the least number of issues as far as other laptops and browsers accepting it. And when we poll our clients and ask them in which way they want to be engaged, most of them say Zoom. And then when it comes to CRM, gosh, this can be a really deep and wide topic. So customer relationship management, that's how we talk to our customers when we get them to fill out an online form or a survey and they're sending back information saying that they're interested in talking back to us, how we catalog those. Do we keep track of client birthdays? Talking to our calendar. Customer relationship management can do a lot. But when organizations are evaluating software, they realize that this is very much garbage in, garbage out. If you're not doing a great job tracking as a person, even with sophisticated software, it doesn't matter what software you're using. It's not going to work for you if you're not using it well. So some folks don't even use a CRM system. We have one client right now who's just wants to buy the biggest and the best. And we keep asking him, what are your intentions to do with it? And it's a nonprofit. And so when we're talking about raising money and having different categories for our different donors and then the people we serve, you have to really know what you want to do with it. These are some examples of CRM systems. I believe Noco Women in Business loves Monday.com. Is that so right?
Yeah. We use Monday.com and it's robust. It definitely, I like how clean it is. And it's just, I mean, you can do a lot with it. The sky really is the limit. And I actually have, my uncle is the CEO of a major organization. You may have heard of it. They actually just landed in Colorado called the Bizzuto Group. And they just transitioned from whatever software they were using forever to Monday.com. And they said it's the best software CRM that they've ever come across. And
That's
they have
an amazing
thousands of employees.
Yeah. And when it came out, I remember one of my team members said, hey, we should take a look at this. And at the time it was like another software because we had just invested in so much. So I haven't embraced it yet, but I do know, and you'll see in a couple slides here, Monday.com comes up a lot because it can replace a lot of other softwares.
Yeah.
Now, in our experience, and I'm sure some of you've experienced that, often you'll purchase one thing. So let's say Constant Contact, and they're really good at newsletters. That was their bread and butter. And then they got so much market share. They're like, oh, well, why don't we be this too? And let's try to be that and be this. And then all of a sudden you try to be everything to everyone, and some of it really works poorly. Or they try to build in plugins to outsource information to all different kinds of other softwares. So you'll see that a lot. I think what happened with Monday.com is that they built it right first, and they didn't plug in or buy out all these other companies. And so what I really need to do is embrace it and then cancel all of these other plans I have, which is really hard to do. But
it is super hard to do. And it's kind of that all in one. And truth be told, when talking about like scheduling content, I mean, we we really could just be using monday.com for that because we have that software.
Yeah.
So I think, finding that thing that you can do most of the stuff in one is best, but there's also that saying of the best CRM is the one that you use. And so, and that's,
Yeah.
that's kind
That's a
of
good
for
one
me, like,
too. Yes.
hard.
Yeah. If you're using it, right?
Yeah.
So CRM is great. It's not necessary for everyone. If you have Outlook or Google Contacts, you can kind of fake it. You can use an Excel spreadsheet, and don't let anyone tell you that it's wrong. It just depends on your size, your know-how, and then what you're willing to outsource and actually use. So project management is typically a big part of what any of us do as businesses if we're working on teams or we're managing projects for our clients. So Smartsheet has been around for a while, and it's really kind of like Excel accelerated. It has a lot more intelligence built in and sharing opportunities. So if you picture, we use a lot of Excel spreadsheets. I personally still like them embedded to a lot of other areas of the business. But Smartsheet is a way to collaborate, especially with clients, but also internally on teams, where let's say you want to share a financial spreadsheet with the client, but you want to hide a couple columns. You can decide what you want to expose and send it to them in a message or an email, and they can only see what's served up, but you can both work in the spreadsheet at the same time. So I'm a big fan of that. Slack can also be used for project management. Asana has popped up a lot lately in the last year. Trello is a big one for those of us who are creatives. About half of my team uses Trello to do all of their project management for their personal accounts they work on. Again, you can collaborate, you can share, you can serve up information to others. So it's kind of like a vision board, but on your computer. And so it's really neat for those who like a visual platform, whereas a spreadsheet's just kind of cut and dry. And then there's monday.com again. For organization, pretty self-explanatory, different calendar types. Every time I give this presentation, we get a lot of conversation and questions about Calendly. I know quite a few businesses that like using it to serve up open meet times on their calendar. So you don't have to go back and forth saying, hey, how about Tuesday at 9? How about 9:30? It just eliminates the thrash back and forth. I myself haven't used it because I have a very interesting calendar. And so I haven't embraced it because I don't have regular times to serve up. But really, you could just serve up a hole here or there and still use it well. There is a free version of it. So if you don't want to do the back and forth with folks, you just want folks to click on a link in your signature line on your email and find an open hole in your calendar, this could be a good software for you. Trello again, another way to organize thoughts, projects, ideas. And then doodle polls. We still use that quite a bit, and a number of clients use it too, where you can just say, all right, we want to meet as a team. Here are all of the dates and times I'm available. You vote on which ones actually work for your calendar, and we'll see if there's a date and time that lines up for everyone. Monday.com again, Smartsheet, and sticky notes. I have a lot of team members who love our sticky notes too, as do I. Okay, e-commerce. So we don't go in deep in this presentation into e-commerce because there are so many platforms where you can sell online and also ways that you can accept money. I think the most challenging part of this area of business in general are just taxes and fees. I get a lot of questions about bookkeeping when it comes to this, and I am not an accountant. I use one myself, but I do enough where I can speak intelligently about these and about just the nature of taxes and fees and everything in general. In Colorado, if you offer a service, you actually can't tag on a tax or a fee for using credit cards. But depending on the accounting software you're using, you can account for a lot of those fees when you're doing your bookkeeping at the end of the year. When when we work with folks who only sell products, so not services, products online or in person, we go into a deeper conversation about ways to accept money. But those fees change all of the time, and there are benefits to each of these in different ways. I know some folks who still exclusively run a business on eBay, and those who sell on Amazon, but they don't do both. And they have their reasons for liking one or another. Accounting, important for all of us, and there are many ways to go about it. So again, you can keep track of your business on Excel and do quite well. QuickBooks, a personal preference for most small businesses, and FreshBooks comes up every once in a while, but most everyone we work with that's on the smaller side uses QuickBooks. Expensify, NetSuite is a big competitor right now to QuickBooks. They're trying to scoop up all of their smaller businesses. I personally use QuickBooks and haven't had any issues with it. I like it. It's pretty robust. I don't use all of the features, but the way that I operate my business, it works really, really well for me. And then outsourcing. So I work with or have some friends, and then we also have some clients where they're a solopreneur. And I know some folks who hate bookkeeping enough where they say, I don't want to do a thing. I want someone else to look at all the numbers. I just want to see a report. So I know where I stand. I don't want to work with it at all. It's not worth my time. And then others who like to keep it close to their chest. And there's nothing wrong with that. Other investments and options. So Microsoft Office, of course, typical expense for most people, or any kind of software where you can create documents, right? IT support is one that many don't realize when they're starting a business for the first time might have to be something you invest in. Now, it doesn't have to be software per se. It could be a company. And up until recently, I didn't actually have someone on call who was my business IT support. And I know that they existed. I just didn't think that my business was big enough to really want it or deserve it. But if you think about it, so much of our business is on our computer. We're all sitting here talking about software. If something were to happen to my laptop, where is it backed up? Where would I grab information quickly? Do I have other devices, or do I just have one machine? And then when I'm locked out of something, or, God forbid, spyware ends up on my laptop, or I click on something I shouldn't have, you need to have someone who knows more than you to help you through that mess. So I enlist another small business who does this remotely. In fact, when I got a brand new machine, just had them copy everything over from the old one onto the new one, make sure it worked optimally, so that I still had a backup machine, but they did it all for me, so I didn't miss a thing. I would say that's a big recommendation. If you don't have IT support or have someone in your life who's really good at it, it's nice to have that person who you can call on that can get into your laptop virtually and help you out of a bind. Online courses, of course, investing in yourself, what you're doing today. Voice over IP, Wi-Fi. Most of us need that to do business. And so it's important to pick good services and to have all of that put into your cost analysis sheet when starting a new business. If you're a nonprofit or work with nonprofits, TechSoup is a website we highly recommend. They offer some courses to help businesses navigate a couple of things, but most importantly, they give discounts. So if you're a nonprofit and type in your nonprofit number, you can get discounts on most all of the software we talked about today. Storage, I pay for extra storage for Google and Dropbox, just like we talked about, making sure that everything you own is backed up in the cloud or on a remote device. I pay for both, so I have double backup. I'm so paranoid of losing anything because my life is digital right now, as many of us do have digital lives. And then mileage. Tracking mileage used to always be done with the notebook in your car. Legally, with the IRS, if you claim miles for your business, it can't be an estimate. You have to account for every mile you drive. So you can have an app on your phone, so long as your phone is with you in the car when you move. your phone knows whether you're walking or driving, and it will track all your mileage. And you can use those softwares to say that was personal, that was business. And if it was business, what kind of business or where does it fall? And talk to my spreadsheet. So I listed QuickBooks here because they have it built into their software so that it's automatically reporting on that for my taxes. And then legal help. Most of us don't have a legal background to represent ourselves too. If you are, you're very lucky and smart. I have enlisted legal help should, again, I ever get in a bind. Let's say someone trips and falls at one of our events and wants to sue us. You need to have that person you can call right away. Most smaller businesses use a service rather than enlisting an actual law firm. So I think it's Legal Shield, where I pay a monthly fee. And if I ever want to ask a legal question or have a letter written, it's all included in part of that small monthly fee to protect myself. And then Life Plan. If someone is just getting started, this is recommended to me the last time I gave this presentation, that the Life Plan is a place to build out your business plan online. So it's software you can use to build out your business plan or refresh it, or if you've got another idea, to plot it out to get you started from the get-go. And never underestimate the power of memberships, subscriptions, and partnerships. We're all here because of that very reason. I belong to a whole lot of stuff and things, but it only matters if you use it, just like CRM software. So again, those are all an investment in your business. Most of them all come with software that you have to navigate. I think about the back end platform that the local chambers offer and how much software I use just to post something there on behalf of my business. It is a heavy lift. And so it's important, but we only recommend them if you're actually going to use them, because that's the only way your business is really going to benefit, not just be listed on a laundry list of other businesses.
Christine, can I back you up for a moment and ask you a question about storage?
Sure.
With my new super cool equipment and things that I'm using for content creation, as we mentioned, like we have these big files and stuff that we're looking to convert. I find that I have storage in like 1,000 different places, and I'm like you too. I don't want to lose anything, but I also want to streamline it as best as possible. So, I mean, this one's super cheap. It's like for the cloud in here, just to back it up off the SIM card so that I can clear the SIM card every time I create something. It's like $25 a year. So this one's pretty inexpensive and I'm okay with that. But I've got Google Drive and then I've got the cloud on my iPhone, and I'm trying to figure out a process for myself that's like, how I want to back up all my personal stuff to like a certain space. So that way, you know, I'm constantly creating new content, and then there's like repurposing that content in different places. So it's like I create the content and then I download it, and then I'm like find that I have to download like 3 different versions of it to my phone, and then I go back and I'm like, even if it's just a photo, it's like I have like 7 different of the same photo. I actually just downloaded this app on my phone called Cleaner Guru, which I have not used yet, but supposedly is supposed to find when you have like duplicates of everything. So I'm gonna try that out, but I'm like, it's like a ton of money every month for just Google Drive as well as the cloud. And I'm like, how do I back it up properly? Because I just don't even know if I'm using these properly.
Great question. And I think, and I share that sentiment. And I just went through an exercise 2 months ago before I traveled. And I wanted to make sure, just in case something happened, what was the last time I backed all my stuff up? And so I have duplicate Dropbox and the Google Drive that I pay for, which I really don't need. I don't need the Dropbox, but it's kind of like my little baby blanket, because I've had issues with Google Drive on my computer. Sometimes it glitches out and I can't get my files, and I can't have that happen. You can't have it all in just one place. So duplication, in my opinion, is key. What I did before I left, though, was I have one of those remote hard drives. So I wouldn't keep that plugged into my laptop or any other device, but all of the stuff that's important. So pictures of our kids and our pets, stuff from years ago that I want to hold on to, or content that maybe I want to touch someday, but I don't want living on my device because it's taking up too much space, or the
Exactly.
cloud. I download to a remote hard drive a really beefy machine at least once a year, if not twice. And
Okay.
wouldn't you know, just a couple weeks ago, we had a client do a change in their business and lost all of their photos and content from anything they've ever posted from the history of their business. And they emailed me and said, Christine, we are devastated. We cannot get anything back. We've lost everything. And wouldn't you know, I backed up my client files and all of their stuff was there. So it was just because I had it on the hard drive. So because we shared a Google Drive together where all those files are, everything got wiped out of there. And because we shared it, I didn't have access to it. It's not like I backed that up elsewhere in Google. So I highly recommend a hard drive that's an actual physical box that downloads your files, in addition to being in the cloud.
Wow. They're probably like, that alone makes our investment in you worth it.
Good, good.
Their
Yeah,
business.
hopefully
Wow.
get one nugget.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's super helpful. It's confusing. I mean, you start making content creation and it's like you've
Yeah,
got all these different tools and then you've got different versions of the content that you're making. And there's like the little SIM card thingy that's it's like
yes.
it's
It's
like,
so much. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. Keeping it all in one place. In fact, just one of our team members, we enlisted her to go through all of our files and actually create a foldering system, because the way that we were even saving information in each of our client folders, it was just one of those organization things. And you can use some software for it. And again, we use Google. So our naming conventions were different for all of our clients. So we finally just went through an exercise and did a sweeping change to all of our client folders to make sure that, let's say this client were to move to another person, I know exactly where to get specific information. So yeah, it just is effort in the background. And again, you can pay for someone to do that remotely. It doesn't have to be yourself. That's just what this is about, trying to feel all of the software out and what do I need most? And actually, what do I like doing the most?
Okay. And Kate also shared to check out the Tech Savvy Creative, who has a lot of info about storage and backups. So for anybody
Ooh,
else
thanks,
that's
Kate.
struggling with the same. Thanks, Kate.
Yeah. So this next screen just shows a typical month for a retail client, and all the different software that they use. So timesheet for scheduling when you have employees, a POS software, point of sale software, third-party site for memberships and rewards. So they use a different, actually a couple different sites for rewards. You've probably seen that when you checked out at a number of different places. P&L system, separate software, Constant Contact for their monthly newsletter. They use a WordPress website and have all kinds of plugins on their website, which also requires monthly product updates, blog posting, and event posting. They use Canva for their social media design and flyer design, and then other software for postcards, business cards, flyers. They use those 3 social media handles. They use Meta for scheduling most. You cannot use Meta for scheduling Pinterest, and Eventbrite for event RSVPs. Now that's all in one month. And that's just like even on a smaller level for some clients. So again, much of that is outsourced to folks who are good at it and like it and do it every day. Any questions? We're now at the end. Ooh, and look, right on time.
If anybody wants to unmute as well and just join in on the conversation, anything software related, obviously regarding what Christine covered today, or any other questions about business. That's essentially what this mini mind is for, is that, you know, you may have questions about running events or content creation, or you know, really just anything to do with business, mindset, accountability. Like the intention of this mini mind is to really kind of talk about everything, but obviously have, you know, these discussions around expert topics and things that are important for us in business too. So. I think I asked most of my questions throughout the call.
Yeah, thank you for keeping it conversational. And that's okay if you don't have questions now. You can always reach out to me. I'm very accessible, especially by email. I live on email and a calendar. But key takeaways for today: software is necessary for your business, can save you time, but your time is money. You don't have to embrace all of the options, but just choose those that you really think you need to start with and don't let it overwhelm you.
Christine, I'm so happy that you said like the Google Meets
Yeah.
like drags down your computer, because for so long I was like, what in the heck is wrong with my computer?
Mm-hmm.
And like anytime I get on like a Google Meet, like I have to completely restart my computer and not have any tabs open.
Yes.
And so that completely makes sense. But I've like been emailing my IT department like,
Yeah.
I need a new computer. Like this is
Yeah.
not okay.
I worked with just recently with a IT person who I use for our business, and we did a test with all the different browsers and things that are running, and you can see what's processing in the background of your computer. But when we met on Google Meet, he could see that it was just dragging down the computer, and it would just stop. It's so frustrating. There is a way when you're in one area of your computer. So I'm on Zoom right now, to kind of sleep all of the other tabs and documents you have open. It's super buried on your computer, and I couldn't tell you where to get it. You might have to Google it or use an IT person. But my IT person had said, I always have so much open and running on my computer that I'm jumping between,
Yes.
that I needed to turn that on. So it would just kind of quiet the noise in the background, and then it wakes it up when you jump over to that other tab or that other document.
Oh, that's really great. And I have my coworker in here with me too. I had her pop in and listen. So I really appreciate you sharing
Thank you.
everything.
Yes,
Sure.
very
Thank
helpful.
We're
you.
still kind of frozen.
Oh, is it me? I don't know.
No, it's me.
Okay. Oh, well, thank you so much for joining today, everyone. I appreciate the questions and the dialogue and the hot tips. I'm going to go check out Flowdesk right now.
Yeah, go right ahead. Ladies, just so you know, these calls are recorded. It will be uploaded onto our YouTube channel, which is brand new. We've got several of our other classes that are going to be uploaded onto the YouTube channel that we've done in the past. I've hosted some. We had Susan Hay, who's our former partner, business partner, now moved out of state. She had some classes. So those will be on YouTube. Any future classes that we do in the future will. If you're interested in teaching a class, please reach out to us. We're always looking for more people with expertise and genius to just add to the conversation and help build each other up so we can all build strong businesses. That's the goal. So we also will be back on here on Zoom this evening. We'll be sending a message out to the group, having a conversation about our upcoming event, our speaker, the plans that we have for this event, what to expect, and delegating out roles to anyone who's interested in partnering and helping us to coordinate this event. We are offering just additional exposure, shout outs, and recognition for being part of our collective group. So if that's something you're interested in, we'd love to have you in that conversation. Like I said, we'll send out another Zoom link this evening. So I think that about wraps us up. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you again, Christine. That was amazing.